Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Friday, June 25th, and this morning I am joined by Boomy at Boomy TCF. I am Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. The main page is at typical underscore Chicago. This morning we will be talking about the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. The Cubs are a half game out of first place. As we record this, they play at 9:10 tonight. They are out in Los Angeles playing the Dodgers for the weekend. They are at 41 and 33. And the White Sox start a series with the Seattle Mariners today. They sit at 44 and 30. They are 2.5 games up in the division. I think that they're gonna. I think they're gonna start running away with this thing. But we'll get more into that. And then we'll get into the Bears possibly leaving Soldier Field to go to Arlington Heights, which would be, I think, awesome for the Bears. It would be such a better spot. I understand the Chicago Bears, they want to be in Chicago, but it's so hard, the parking. So I think it would be awesome. But apparently Chicago says that they are not allowed to leave Soldier Field for at least, I think, about 10 years is what it said.
33 or something.
Well, we'll get into that. The MLB substance checks on the pitchers after they come in from their first inning of pitching. If it's a reliever, it's just, I think, whenever they get back in. If so, I don't know if they get pulled in the middle of the inning. Do they get checked in the middle of that inning? We'll kind of get into that. And then Zach Lavine is on the USA team, which I think is awesome. We'll get into if we think it's good for him or not. And then we'll end the show like we always do with Boomys Wacky Web Story. If you want to follow us on Facebook or Instagram, type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. Go over to the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page. Typical Chicago Fans, food reviews, morning shows, podcast, all on there. We're going to have some good food reviews coming up here. Me and Boomy will be taking a week trip out to Denver, so that's going to be fun. And then wherever you get your podcast from, type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. If it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. Shout out to 26shirts.com. Chicago Boomy's got their shirt on right now. The Rossi's Posse. If you want a shirt just like that, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Oh, no. Type in 26shirts.com, Chicago, and at checkout, type in Typical Chicago Fans, and you will find you will get 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com, Chicago. First, before we get going here, I got to give a shout out to my dad. It is his birthday today. Shout out to Dave Lilia, my dad, the best.
Happy birthday, Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave. I'm not going to disclose his age because I may not know it. But you know what? He's like what? He just probably turned what, 40?
Yeah, we'll say 38.
38. But Boomy, how we doing?
Man, doing well. Can't complain. A lot of golf, a lot of softball, a lot of movies.
It looks like we got a lot of rain coming up here, Boomy.
Supposed to get it today, and it kind of drizzled here and there. Nothing too wild, but I mean it's definitely we definitely need it out here. I know that it's been pretty dry, and so not complaining. It hasn't been too bad, and it's supposed to be a rainy weekend, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think I said rain for the next week or so, but we definitely need it. The grass needs it. Everything does. I think we went about, it seemed like a month and a half, 2 months without rain.
It was a long time. The yard was not looking great.
So we'll take what we can get. But let's get into the subjects here. The Cubs, they play a late one, I think almost every night this week. Well, this weekend, let's see here. Tonight they play at 9:10. On Saturday they play at 6:15, so that's nice. And then on Sunday there are the ESPN games. So there's 2 9 o'clock games and 2 6 o'clock games in this 4-game series. So that's kind of nice. The Cubs back on ESPN. Adbert Elsley versus Clayton Kershaw, ESPN Sunday night. I love that. I
Love
love that a
that.
lot. Let's go. The Cubs 41-33. They're half game out. But as we record this, the game starts in about 20 minutes or so. So if they win that game, they will be tied for first place. They had the day off on Wednesday. They ended up splitting the series with the Cleveland Indians. So we'll take that. It's a interleague series. You always it's a and the Cubs needed a day off, so that's nice. Um, Boomy, what are you thinking about this starting pitching right now?
I mean, it kind of is what we expected it to be. They're gonna have their bumps. We can all agree there. I mean, it's not a staff that's gonna go, rip
It's a
off a couple
staff
weeks.
that needs an ace.
Oh, without a doubt,
And I'm
man.
not saying Kyle Hendricks can't be that, but like we need another guy that can be just straight dominant and win you a game one or a game two in a playoff series.
Yeah, and Zach Davies. I mean,
You Darvish.
Zach Davies' record shows exactly what he has been his whole career. He's 4-4 with a 4.6 ERA. I think that's probably very median for him. He is who he is. He's going to have some good outings. And he's going to have some really bad outings, and it is what it is. It's
Because this
Arrieta's definitely
look
on the
back at this.
downside of his career. So
If you look back at the trade, you Darvish, like what were they thinking?
it went all back to shedding money because of the loss from COVID. That's all it
I
was.
I guess, but I don't know. At this point, just imagine if we would have him. We'd have Victor Carantini. Oh my goodness! Like we're doing well without them, but like
Right.
it
There's
just.
always the what if in the back of your head when you look
I
at it here,
guess,
but
but there really was no upside to that. I don't think.
yeah, the thing that surprised it, and then was it a couple weeks after the trade, or maybe a month after the trade, when they all of a sudden they're like, oh, never mind, our projected sales are better.
Yeah,
Like we're actually in a place where we can, add a piece or whatever. But it's like, how are you an advanced organization as far as like finances and stuff, and you can't figure that out earlier? Like that, I don't. It
it
is what
makes
it
no
is.
sense. But hey, the bullpen looking
Yeah,
amazing right now.
yeah.
Something the Cubs have not been able to say for the last few years.
Christ, probably
And
the
then
last decade.
the offense, it's there. We're playing well. Um, it's not like we're going in long droughts like the last few seasons where the offense gets like really bad because they keep it consistent.
Yeah, they're gonna put up. They're gonna have runs with or games where they put up a lot of runs, and
They just
they
have a
don't.
lot of guys who are they're gonna strike out.
Yeah, and that's been their mo for the last 2 or 3 years. But this is a big series this weekend. You've got to take you. It'd be really nice to at least take two from the Dodgers. The
They
Dodgers are
swept the
very
Dodgers in Chicago. It'd be nice to split the series at least.
yeah.
You'd
Oh,
love to
I
you
think
love
a
to win
split.
it. You love to win the series, but you'll take a split against a good team like this in LA.
Yeah, and I'm saying a split where it's like two games where you play well, two games where the Dodgers play well. If they have games where like maybe there's 3 games that the Cubs play well, but somehow they manage to lose one late. Like that one hurts, and it really puts you in a bad spot if you go out and lose 4. And don't get me wrong, the Dodgers are very good, but you can't go out and be getting swept. Especially being on the road, and the Dodgers, they're the Dodgers, man. They're constantly in the playoffs, making World Series runs for a reason. So you've got to come out and you got to win a couple games and kind of put it to them there. It's going to be much different. Don't expect the Cubs to be the exact same team that swept the Dodgers a couple weeks ago. It's on the road. It's a much different environment. So, but pick up a couple wins and get out of there because there's a huge series starting on Monday with the Brewers.
Yeah, that they got to get through this. Hopefully, like I said, if you can split it, get it back to Wrigley Field, and you hopefully can get a lead in the division by then, and then kind of take it over.
Yep.
If you can play well against them at Wrigley Field, be awesome.
Absolutely. Right before the All Star break, kind of put the pressure on the Brewers and make them.
Speaking of the All Star break, if you're listening to this MLB, please put Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby.
Also, did you see the All Star game jerseys?
Yeah, no.
Terrible. They're terrible. We talk a lot
Awful.
of jersey and uniforms on this podcast, and those are god awful.
Not good. Um, but let's move on to the White Sox. They are up 2.5 games in their division. They start a series against the Seattle Mariners in Chicago this weekend. Playing very well. Um, kind of, kind of went on a little bit of a losing streak there, but they bounced back. It's a tough Astros team, you know. If you're gonna lose a series, you can get swept. It's the Astros, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, I get it's interleague play and it's a middle of the week series, but like getting beat 6-3 by the Pirates when you're supposed to be one of the best
yeah,
teams.
that's
In
not
baseball,
good.
that's tough.
That's not good. You'll lose against the Astros. You don't want to lose against the Pirates because
Yeah,
as a Cub fan, you've seen it too many times. You lose to a team like the Pirates, and at the end of the season, you're like, we wish we would have had those games back.
yeah, 100%, man. It. Like I said, you're not going to beat teams all the time. You're not going to sweep all the bad teams. You know, it's baseball, but to get beat 6-3 by the Pirates in a game where it's a spot where you could have made up some good ground, that's tough to bear that one.
But they bounced back and won the second game against them, and like I said, they got the day off on Thursday, so they'll be back against the Mariners today. Uh, Boomy, let's get into this with the Bears, and I don't know if you really think that the Bears should stay at Soldier Field. I don't really get that because it's not easy to get there. It's not like the best place in the world. I like Soldier Field, but like I don't know. I really don't. As a Bears
No,
fan, it's not like I'm gonna be sad if they leave.
yeah, and the Bears still don't even
Arlington
own it.
Heights is so much easier,
Yeah, I mean like I said, the Bears don't even own it.
and it'll be a brand
You
new
know,
stadium.
Park District exactly. And I believe it's also the smallest seating capacity stadium in the NFL. Um,
Hmm?
you know, obviously they did the renovations, you know, around 2000, you know, when the Bears played there, but they're already outdated.
The
It's
turf
the
sucks, or the
yeah,
grass sucks, whatever
yeah,
you want to call it.
yeah, and that's because the Park District, you know, owns and operates it, and the
But then
Bears
they
have
have concerts there and everything,
yeah,
and
soccer
it's
games and everything there. I think that, and we've talked about this. I believe when there was talk about the Cubs moving to Rosemont. I get you want your Chicago teams in Chicago, but like at the same time, like the Giants don't play in New York. They actually don't even play in the state of New York. They play in New Jersey. The Jets don't play there. You know, it's stuff like that. Like even the San Francisco 49ers play in a stadium that's like 50 minutes to an hour away from San Francisco. So it's not like it is, or it's not like it was 50, 60 years ago when teams had to play in that area, because it's a nightmare to get to that stadium. And you know, it's you've got to think about when you're trying to fill up an NFL stadium, you want it to be as convenient as possible, and you got to put it out by those interstates instead of smack dab in, you know, the third biggest, you know, city in the country. You got to make it a little bit more accessible. And I personally don't know if it'll ever happen, but I don't hate when teams, especially teams that we cheer for, look at these options, because I would go to, I love going to Wrigley Field, but we can speak from experience. We were just there 2 weeks ago, and it took us an hour and a half just to get back to the expressway. So if there's a place where the Cubs could have, let's just say hypothetically, built a stadium in Rosemont, literally right on 294, and we're home in an hour and 45, 2 minutes instead of 3.5 hours, I'm all in.
yeah, that would be nice. But well,
Yeah.
I don't think that one's gonna happen anytime soon. But Arlington Heights has said that they would do it. So that's nice to know.
Yeah.
But we'll just
I
kind of
think
wait and see
unfortunately
how
it's
that
also
goes.
a big negotiation tactic.
Oh yeah, unfortunately it is, but it got some people excited about it.
Yeah, and it has a tendency to make things happen. Like it helped with the Cubs with the renovation plan. It kind of pushed things along. Like, hey, either you work with us, you know, or we'll bounce. And the Bears kind of have the upside on that now. If they want to make renovations and do what they need to do, hey, maybe we'll skip town if you don't want to play ball.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that actually happens because and it's gonna take forever for all this to actually
Oh
happen.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it'll be many years down the road. But booming with this whole substance checks that the umpires make at the end of every Well, every first inning
So
that a pitcher goes out there.
So it's yeah. Anytime there's a pitching change, they test the pitcher, I believe, for substances on his glove or. But it was hilarious, and I brought this up because I don't know if you saw the video. There's a reliever for the A's who was called to the foul line to have his stuff checked. He took his hat, his glove off. He took his belt off, put it on the ground, and acted like he was pulling his pants down. I thought that was pretty. And then obviously the Max Scherzer and
That one was a
Philadelphia
little
Phillies.
ridiculous. They checked him 3 times. Okay,
Yeah,
after the first time, it's like, okay, Joe Girardi, chill out.
yeah, of course, Joe Girardi being a hardo.
Oh, and
That's
Max Scherzer's a crazy person
yeah, that's not the guy you want to piss
in a
off.
good way. I mean, the Cubs, please go get Max Scherzer.
Yeah, and I was listening to the Compound podcast, and they were talking to Dakota Meckes, and then they were saying about some of the coaches were like, basically, if someone calls us out, then we are kind of free to call an umpire out to check on them. But until then, it's like unless you think something's egregious, like just play ball. Like it's kind of silly, but and like this would be different if this was happening in spring training when this should have been implemented, right? Instead of what are we
Yeah,
now 4 months into the
yeah, you
season?
can't do this in the middle of a professional season.
And of course, bonehead Rob Manfred said, "Oh, this is going great." It's like, dude, have you watched a game? Like you literally complain about pace of play all the time, and now you're sending umpires to check pitchers' belts. Like you
Just
have
it's
to find a way to
just
make
it
this.
was just the wrong time to do it. I'm not saying
Yep.
it's not the right thing to do. And I think the way they're going about it is a little much, but you can't do this in the middle of a season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can implement this at the end of the year, and then say, hey, we're going to do this in spring training, see how it works. Then we'll before this regular season starts, then we'll look to implement something then. But you can't do this 4 months into the season. That's so stupid and such a waste of time. Because I don't think they've caught anybody.
Yeah, let's make baseball a little bit slower. Let's slow the game down a little bit. Let's make it a little less interesting. Well, what are they doing?
Baseball can't get out of its own way. The
No,
MLB
it's
commissioner's office can't get out of their own way.
just stupid.
Idiots.
But Zach Lavine has accepted an invitation to the USA team. Um, who are some notables on the team? I think I saw Damian Lillard's on the team.
I believe KD and James Harden are on the team. I know James Harden is.
There we go. That's awesome. I think
Um,
it's just this can't be anything but good for Zach Lavine to play with guys like this because say what you want, get those guys are gonna be playing basketball either way.
right.
So might as well go out there play with the best in the
You
United
think he got a
States
shot
against.
to play? Like, was he going to get some
Oh
time?
yeah, I think he'll play for sure.
Yeah, I
He go
definitely
out.
would.
He can go out there and they can throw the ball up to him a few times. Maybe he can get a few alley oops in. Um, get excited about it. Bang some threes. Like I said, not this experience can't be anything but good for him.
Here we go. I got the roster here: KD, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Zach Levine, Kevin Love for some reason, Draymond Green, Bam Adebayo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Jeremy Grant.
So no James Harden.
No, I was wrong on that one. But dude, like how I get that, players have, things going on, especially ones that make like deep playoff runs. But like how sick would that be if we got legitimately the best 15 players in the NBA? Like I
But
love
the only
Zach Levine. I
problem with
would
now is like they're gonna have to go back through all the COVID stuff again,
right.
and
Right.
but
And I'm just saying like what if you got like
it'd be awesome to see.
and on like you also have to think about it like Giannis is not from the United States. He does have, allegiance. He might play in Greece. And there's some other players that are, like Luka Doncic is probably a top 10 player. I think we can all probably agree to that right now. But he's from Slovenia, so he's going to play
And
for them.
LeBron just doesn't want to play.
You're an idiot.
I'm just saying I'm just saying he's tired from his long playoff run.
There's also like guys that, like that are still like James Harden. I mean, they just finished up and he was hurt all year, so
Well,
we
yeah,
don't
he
know.
was hurt, so yeah, that's
Yeah,
not going to happen.
but
Kyrie
like
is not going to be on the team.
how cool would that be if you could get the legitimate best 15 nation-born players and just go see what happens. I mean, and like Olympic basketball is a lot different now than it was in 1992 because you have guys, like Giannis and Luca and guys being, um, you know, foreign-born players is a little bit more common now than it was in 1992. I think is when the Dream Team, won their gold medal. But like, it would be really impressive to see how if you had the legit, 12 or 13 of the best 20. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love Zach Lavine. I don't know if Zach Lavine's a top 15 player right now, and I Drew Holiday's good, Jeremy Grant's good, but are they in the top 15? I could argue against that. So, but I don't think that the roster's finalized. I still think they're still waiting on some people, especially guys that are in the
It's still a
playoffs.
very, very good roster.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It'll be fun to watch him, and hopefully he does get. I think on that roster, he's definitely going to get some tick on, with that crew.
That's like I said, that can't be anything but good for him.
What you said?
It can't be anything but good for him. The
Yeah,
experience, getting to play with the best players in the United States against some of the best players, all good, all good.
definitely. Be
A
nice to
well
see Anthony
spent off
Davis or a
season,
couple others, but
a very well spent off season for Zach Lavine. Unfortunately, the Bulls, they got the 8th pick, so that is now the pick for the Orlando Magic. Unfortunately, so that sucks.
yeah,
Boomy, you got a wacky web story for us?
I sure do. And Zach, you're probably not going to like this one because it involves mice and a lot of them.
Oh my
An Australian prison, and I don't know how much you follow Australian news, Zach, but there is a huge mouse pandemic across Australia right now. Um, a Australian prison has been evacuated because so many swarms of mice have infested this prison. So this is in Canberra, Australia. It says the plague of mice has ravaged Eastern Australia, has forced the evacuation of a prison while authorities repair gnawed electrical wirings and clear dead and decaying mice from the walls and ceilings.
Oh
200,
my goodness! Let's hurry this one up, Boomy.
200 staff and 420 inmates will be transferred um, to another prison while they repair because the swarms of mice are so bad. They're eating away the walls and the electrical work and are causing so much havoc that they had to empty a prison because the mice pandemic in Australia is so bad.
Oh my
Things
gosh!
might not be great here all the time, right, guys? But we can all agree at least we don't live in Australia.
At least we don't have a mouse
Plague.
pandemic.
It's I can't imagine. I would buy the first plane out of there, and I would
Oh,
never go back. I have no. I want to travel. I've been to like 42 states or something. I have no interest in ever seeing the continent of Australia. No, thank
if you have a problem with mice, I'm out.
you. Yeah, I don't mind mice, but I don't want thousands of dead and decaying mice either.
Yeah, if you're having to evacuate prisons because there's so many mice, sorry,
Yeah,
see ya.
yeah. Nope, I'm out.
See you later. Well, great, oh, awesome Boomy's Wacky Web Story. Now I'm gonna have like nightmares.
Yeah, you're gonna have a nightmare where you're in the Australian prison that's being swarmed with mice.
Oh gosh. Anything post show, Boomy? I just saw Jack Peterson got a nice little welcome back to the Dodgers.
Always good to see. Yeah, you said about Kyle Schwarber playing in the Derby. Did you see he's had like one of the best months here in June that
Unbelievable.
I've ever seen before?
I love Schwarber too. I want to see him succeed. If there's one player from the last few years on the Cubs, if they leave, it's Schwarber's the guy that I'm going to cheer for forever.
Yeah,
I love Schwarber. Got the Schwarber jersey, and I want to be able to wear that when me and Boomy go to the home run derby and cheer on Kyle Schwarber. Please let him in the home run derby. He's done nothing um, but make a case for why he should be in the last 10 days, 12 days.
yeah. His entire month of June has been absurd.
You love to see it.
In other news, does it worry you a little bit inside the Bulls division? The Pacers just hired Rick Carlisle.
No,
I think that's a good hiring for them.
it's a good hire, but no.
And then Jason Kidd going to be the coach of the Mavericks.
You know what worries me? The Bulls should have had top 4 pick is what worries me.
Couldn't tank right.
Unbelievable.
Couldn't tank right. And last one I got, Zach. Um, I don't know. I follow way too much like helmet because I have some helmets, I'm customizing and stuff. And I just like uniforms. And I obviously have talked extent about jerseys and uniforms. But the NFL approved the use of a second alternate helmet because right now they have a one helmet rule that you're only allowed to wear one helmet no matter what jersey you're wearing. But they did approve. So starting in 2022, if you're wearing a throwback uniform, you can have a second helmet. Pretty cool news.
Pretty cool news, but like the NFL's
Such
like,
the
okay,
NFL.
NFL's like, now you're allowed to have whatever kind of, now you can have a second helmet. It's like,
Yeah.
thanks for the permission.
Yeah, it's like a communist dictatorship that's like, oh, you can have two
Well,
pieces of clothing.
it's also the same. The NFL is the same people that are like, oh, you can only wear the shoes that you want to
Yeah.
wear for 1 week out of the year, and we're gonna make a big deal about it.
Yep, dictator Goodell. So that's about on par.
That's crazy though. That just now, and well, not now,
So they used
2022.
you used to be able to, and then when all the concussion lawsuits started, they stated that you could only have one helmet. They changed that because remember, I always remember the Packers had that brown helmet for those ugly throwback uniforms that they wear that I hate. But now instead of just having them painted, you can actually have a second shell. So I thought it was the
There,
dumbest rule, but
there we go.
it was all on concussions. So
Yeah. But now they can have 2 types of helmets.
yes, so we'll see a lot more throwbacks. Hopefully,
We will. Well, thank you to Boomy at Boomy TCF for joining me this morning. I'm Zach Lilia at ZLilia TCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago on Twitter. The main page is, if you want to go follow us on Facebook or Instagram, type in typical Chicago fans. You will find us on there. Go over the YouTube page, type in typical Chicago fans. Please subscribe. We have our morning shows, podcasts, interviews, all on there. Food reviews. We'll have a lot of food reviews. We'll bring back the rest stop reviews. Also, we're gonna have a 14-hour drive out to Denver, so we'll have a bunch of those. And well, Boomy, I'm trying to finish this.
sorry, I got excited.
Follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast at. Type in typical Chicago fans. You'll find us on there. If it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. And shout out to 26shirts.com. Chicago Boomy's got the shirt on right there. Go over to 26shirts.com. Chicago. Type in typical Chicago fans, and you will get 15% off of your purchase. That is 26shirts.com, Chicago. Type in typical Chicago fans. You will get 15% off of your purchase. Boomy has the worst. Like, he can't keep it in.
We got the giggles tonight.
He got the giggles. Well, this has been the TCF Morning Show, Friday, June 25th. We love you all.
Peace.